Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Joy News. Today we're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle. We're on DTT because we're free to air on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 125. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon, special prosecutor invites NDC MP aspirant who was seen in showering money on party faithful at just ended primaries over suspected case of corruption. Meanwhile, some delegates in Asawase confess to receiving money from both contenders over the weekend. We have details for you shortly. Also, early morning rains in Accra leaves hundreds of commuters in the capital as flood waters take over their traveling route. In business front, first tranche of IMF cash to hit Bank of Ghana account this week, and we'll be bringing you details of that. Also, we have sports, world news, and the very latest in showbiz, all coming up this hour. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Joy News on TV. My personal handle is at Denana Aisha. Please stay for details. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has invited the National Democratic Congress MP aspirant for Ejura Dumase over a suspected case of corruption. Juliana Kenan Wasan, according to a letter intercepted by Joy News, is one of the persons of interest for the actions during the opposition party's presidential and parliamentary primaries on May 13. The MP aspirant who lost to the incumbent MP Mohammed Bawa Ibrahim seen in a viral video standing in the bucket of a car showering cash on the people who flanked her at the Ahmadiyya School Park where voting was ongoing. We'll share details of the OSP's letter with you shortly, but first, here's Love FM's Anabuachi Yad on recounting the incident at the polling center on Saturday.
Article 33, Clause 1 of the Representation of People Law 1992 provides that a person commits the offense of bribery if he or she makes a gift or provides something of value to a voter to induce the vote in a certain way. At the Ejura Dumase constituency, delegates rushed for cash as parliamentary aspirant Juliana Kenan Wasan shared money at the electoral grounds during her entry. Some delegates were seen receiving envelopes from agents of some candidates. Incumbent MP Bawa Ibrahim also shared knapsack spraying machines to delegates. This is a gift from Honorable Bawa Ibrahim. He said we should use it on our farms. We want to say a very big thank you to him, and we hope this primaries goes well for him as well. Communications Officer of the NDC at the Ejura Dumase constituency, Abubakar Sadiq Osman, told Joy News candidates found culpable will face appropriate disciplinary action.
It's actually against the party rules. We have instructed all candidates to be mindful of the things they do that go to undermine the quality of the process we kind of have here. So where we are now, I'm sure it is very difficult for you to actually kind of impugn the person because we're going for a contest. Any move to kind of try to correct them now would look as if you're being biased towards the person. But I'm sure right after the primaries, the right process will be put in place to ensure that what she's done, I'm sure, even if she's going to be rebuked, she might not do it again in any of the contests she might have to contest again. I know we have a disciplinary process in the party. I'm sure we'll take her through that disciplinary process. And once we're done, and it happens that the national party and the regional party actually, based on the recommendation of a committee that will be set up to investigate that she has done, I'm very sure the right process will be done. I can actually preempt what is it that may happen after that investigation and her conduct. So as we have it now, maybe we have to leave it here till when we're done with the primaries, and we'll see what next the party will take. The next step the party will take in ensuring that this does not repeat itself again in any of our elections ever in this constituency.
For Joe News, Nana Boachi Dankwa Yadom, Kumasi.
In a letter, the OSP said it has commenced an investigation into the suspected corruption in respect of her action. Excerpts of that letter reads, the OSP considers you as a person necessary for investigation. You are directed to attend the office of the Special Prosecutor at 6 Haile Selassie Avenue, Southridge, Accra, on Thursday, May 18, 2023 at 10 a.m. for interviewing. You may be accompanied by a counsel of your choice. Now, joining me live with more is Programs Manager at the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Mary Ada. I'm grateful for your time, Mary Ada. First, what's your reaction to what transpired? An aspirant actually seen showering money on delegates at the time of voting.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your viewers. Aisha, this is very sad. I say sad because advocacy concerning this matter has been done forever. I say this back to the beginning of our democracy, particularly this time around 1992. We have done some work around this in 96, 2000, and the subsequent elections. And so for us to see a candidate at the party primary level splashing money in the air and people following to pick up is an unfortunate situation. It is unfortunate because I believe people who put themselves up for a public office should know better. They should know the laws of Ghana and should be willing to abide by same. Unfortunately, this is a lady who has done this condemnable act, and I say so in no uncertain terms. It is sad, it is repulsive, and it shouldn't be entertained at all, either by the party or by whoever it is who is supposed to be part of this process. And so for us in the Ghana Integrity Initiative, we believe we're actually going to issue a statement to condemn this, because in no uncertain terms, we believe that parties should organize their primaries or their elections on a fair, on a free platform so that everybody then competes based on ideas and based on what they believe they would bring to the people, or not based on money. These images are a big shame to us as a people. We know that issues around social media, and because of the internet, they travel very widely. And so if we are seen to be portraying such impudence and such impunity, then it means the shining light that we deceive ourselves to be when it comes to the continent is a big lie after all. And this is just a tip of the iceberg. We've seen others, people who had branded rice. I also saw people taking envelopes at the side. For what purpose, to what intent and purpose are these geared towards? We should be careful the way we are progressing. And so for us, the Office of the Special Prosecutor inviting her to come for an investigation is the right move in this scheme of things. I believe that the party also has a duty to the people of Ghana to show that this is not the behavior they encourage in their party elections. They should come out to issue a statement. I know some portions of the party members have spoken to this, but the party should speak against this serious impunity. And it is interesting that she didn't even win after all. We hope that this would be a lesson to anyone who wants to repeat such behavior in the future.
What do you expect out of this invitation by the OSP?
Certainly, as it is indicated, she should come with her lawyer. And what she's done is a crime against the state. And for that matter, certainly the law should kick into, they would certainly do an investigation, but we believe that it is clear that if this is a criminal offense, as it is stipulated and your colleague, the journalist, mentioned, so we expect that she would then be provided the avenue to face the full rigors of the law. And I believe that it shouldn't just be for the law alone. The party, as I know, the party also has some regulations that would not permit things like this. And so as she publicly did this, she should also be publicly sanctioned so that everybody in Ghana who wishes to participate in public elections would be governed by the laws of Ghana.
Well, some say she has already lost the polls, and as you rightly indicated earlier, will this invitation to the OSP change anything?
She has already lost the polls, yes, that is good. And for some of us, we believe that at the local level, it is incentive enough that whatever you give does not necessarily mean you would win. And you realize from the audio and the footage that the incumbent also gave, because they were saying, but we cannot allege because we didn't see him handing over. We saw people carrying knapsacks, and they said these were also provided by the MP, the incumbent. And so for us at the local level, this is not enough because the people of Ghana have become more sophisticated, but that is not the case. It could also mean that the other contender gave more, or perhaps when we realize that we have not done enough to convince the people to vote for us, then we go for these underhanded processes. But then at the party level, they will deal with it, but then the state has a duty to also ensure that we do more. You see, it is becoming, I said impunity, it is becoming such a common behavior for politicians to continue to do this. And so, not just the OSP, but other state institutions who believe they can work around this should be interested in this matter, because at this point, we have somebody on video throwing money away and people gathering. So what was this? To what intent and purpose was this for? That's what the OSP should be interested in. And if she is scattering it, where did the money come from in the first place? We do not know. Yep. So it will be good for the aspirant to then begin to answer those questions. And when there is a need for further sanctions, then she gets them. And we believe she should get it from every angle so that it speaks to every prospective person who wants to do this. Remember that we are going to be having a lot more primaries coming up in the near future. And so we shouldn't, as a country, be seen to be countenancing some of these repugnant behaviors.
I'm grateful for your time. Mary Adai is Programs Manager of the Ghana Integrity Initiative. Definitely, this is something we're watching out with keen interest We'll definitely bring you more on this. But meanwhile, some delegates of the National Democratic Congress in Asawase constituency have confessed to receiving money from candidates in exchange for votes in the party's parliamentary primary. They claim both incumbent MP Muntaka Mubarak and his contender Masaudu Mubarak are guilty of vote buying. Though the electoral laws frown on the practice, delegates were excited upon receipt of the amounts they term as transport allowance. Nanaya Ojima joins us live with more. Nanaya, tell us more about this development.
So, Aisha, on Saturday, we noticed that some of the delegates were excited about receiving some amount they term as TNT from the candidates. And we spoke to a couple of these delegates, about 6 of them, and they all confessed to taking cash from 2 of the aspirants. That's the 2 aspirants that stood elections in the Asawase constituency, being Honorable Muntaka Mubarak and also Masaud Mubarak. We have some of these delegates on tape confessing to taking their amount. They claim that this is the first time they are receiving such an amount from aspirants, because over 8 years there haven't been any contest of this nature in the Asawase constituency. So some of them believe that due to the nature of this way, it compelled the aspirants to at least give something in return for votes. But asking whether the amount that they got should influence their ballot, many of them said they had already decided even before the amounts were given to them. So to them, it didn't influence their votes. But we couldn't, get a full data on all of them who received the money. But the information that we have is that one of the candidates paid as high as 1,000 cedis, and the other paid 500 cedis. And the amount that every delegate got depended on the relationship between the delegates and the aspirants. So at least I can tell, or I can confirm, that delegates at Asawase confessed to taking money from the aspirants in this election.
To speak with both contenders, the incumbent and his closest contender, on why they did that, or have they even confirmed if they did it?
So, within the period of the election, we could get Muntaka Mubarak to speak to him, and he accused his other contender of sharing money or taking out money to these delegates. I posed the question to him that there's also information, or I've also received information that he, as Muntaka, in the person of Muntaka Mubarak, has also distributed some amount to some of these delegates. Then he eventually denied. He said, at the time I saw him, he was just coming out of his house. So he hasn't done anything of that nature. But my text indicated that Muntaka Mubarak was battling some of these delegates to the venue, and according to the people I speak to, it was within these buses that Muntaka Mubarak also gave something as transportation cost or transportation allowance to these delegates who came to vote on Saturday.
Right, Nanaya Ojima is a man reporting from the Asawase constituency, and he says that some delegates have confirmed taking money from both the incumbent and his contender. Let's stick with monetary inducement at the just ended NDC primaries, because Ibrahim Adams Momoni, an aspirant in the Boem constituency who contested Kofi Adams in the NDC primaries and lost by 13 votes, is alleging financial inducement from his competitor, and he says that prevented him from winning the day. According to him, his opponent gave out more than he did to enable the incumbent Kofi Adams to carry the day. Although he has admitted giving out what he calls transportation, he believes spending on delegates just to remain in power is denying honest and committed individuals from engaging in politics. Momoni Adams has been speaking to Oti regional correspondent Peter Seno.
The race to parliament on the ticket of the NDC in the Oti region has seen 2 of 8 members of parliament kicked out by delegates. In the Kratchi West constituency, Helen Intuso has been retained by delegates. Kratchi Inchumuru's Solomon Kuyon was also retained. In the Nkwanta North and South constituencies, Otibles and Geoffrey Kinney were also retained. However, there were two casualties in the region. Kratchi East constituencies Wisdom Gedisu and Biakuye's Abuaji Nyampon have been rejected by delegates. Biakuye constituency now has a female candidate, Jean-Marie Fomadi, and Nelson Kofi Jabab for Kratchi East. Fred Kwesi Agbanyu also won for the yet-to-be-created constituency for Guan. And one more candidate who won on the brinks is Kofi Adams for Boem constituency. He pulled 444 votes to win, a winning margin of just 11 votes. In the Akan constituency, where delegates have decided for years now to terminate MPs after one term in office, Engineer Yao Gomado broke the jinx, this time to contest for a second term. He pulled 448 votes to beat two other contenders, Nana Dabo and Ahmed Muniru. The former MP, Aziz Muniru, who was kicked out by delegates after one term, said the practice has not helped the constituency. He asked for support for whoever emerged the winner.
Parliamentary attrition is very high in Ghana. It is not so much of a problem depending on the candidate being presented. If you have an MP who is a continuing MP, it helps because of the parliamentary memory that that candidate might reserve. What I'll suggest is we should always come up with the best candidate, and when the candidate performs, we should retain him. If we think he does not perform, we should kick him out. Just like they thought I was not performing very well, I was kicked out. If he is elected, we will still give him the support, but if he doesn't get it, I know he will also support whomever will come out victorious.
Before the end of polls, the calm engineer cast his votes without the usual support from delegates, but he indicated he was going to win the day.
But you are confident that by close of polls, Engineer Yao Gomado is winning the contest?
Oh yes, can't we see what is going on? During our campaign, it tells that I'm going to win. That's what I told you earlier on, that I know that I'm going to win this race.
It did happen, and now calling on all to come on board to support the party for victory in the 2024 general elections.
Let me take the opportunity to first of all thank the delegates. I appreciate them so much, and this decision taking must be respected. My other opponents or contestants, I want to take this opportunity to appeal to them to come forward so that we work together to win the 2024 election. It is not me, it is not anybody, but it is the party. This is democracy, and this is the voice of the delegate, which must be respected. Therefore, I'm inviting all of them to come to the floor so that we work towards victory 2024.
Peter Sanu for Joy News.
Well, the incumbent Kofi Adams has been responding to this. He spoke on the AM show.
The mere fact that some executives live in a particular area and you didn't locate the borehole in that area, and they get angry thinking that if you could get the water at a location maybe 200 meters away from them, then it is possible to also get water just by them. Engineering sense, that is not possible. So if you get angry as a result of that, I don't see how I could get that problem resolved too. There's already an insurance, a health insurance system. The only problem you are faced with is the availability of the infrastructure. So I spend more time building up the CHIPS compounds to raise them to standard so they can serve everybody, whether you are an executive or you are not an executive. For example, in the eastern part of WIM, there is not a single health facility that could take you through basic lab tests. What I have done is to raise the standard by providing them a standardized lab facility and negotiated with an institution to come and build a further lab. Currently, as we speak, part of the funds have been released to the District Health Directorate for them to start the implementation of such a project. Other areas including education. We continue to support hundreds of tertiary students who gain admission and could not pay their fees. We extend support to them heavily. And this cut across, whether you are an executive son or not, we give to everybody who qualifies and is in need.
Right.
It is not free money. So these are things we are already doing. Agriculture inputs, we continue to support them. But don't forget that the Common Fund, as people think, is not an unending facility. Maybe maximum when you get will be about 200 and something thousand for a year. And that comes with a budget, areas that you want to use it for. And so when people are promising on that same source that could not do the many things that they are saying, you sit there, you should know something basic about insurance. If somebody promised that I will give all of you, over 1,000 of you, insurance, how are you going to pay the premium?
Away from the NDC, the early morning rains in the capital city Accra has left hundreds of commuters stranded in various parts of town. The rain, which started a little after 6 a.m., has caused floods and jammed traffic. A number of people heading to their offices via public and private transport this morning have been stuck on their way. Joy News' Carlos Kaloni was at the 37 area in Accra and filed this report.
At the 37 bus stop, you can see as many stranded here due to the this early morning downpour. You can see workers, you can also see school children who have been stuck here due to the rain, and public vehicles are not coming, the trucks are not coming for hours. Many have been stranded here due to this particular downpour.
My name is Albert, and I'm on my way to cycle though, but then for the past 15 minutes now, I'm waiting at 37 just to take a ride to cycle. It's not been a good situation though, but then here we are. It has actually delayed our protest because I left the house around 6 something. I'm waiting here to take a car to Accra. But because of the rain, I couldn't be able to move because of the rain. And I think that because of this hat here, it's actually helped. But some places when I was coming, they don't actually have hats like that, this one I'm standing on. They actually stand on by the tree, but when it's raining, it's not good to stand under the tree. So it's better for them to provide some hat like this one.
I've been here for about 5 minutes. The rain has not worried me a lot, because I have to get to school before 8 o'clock, so I'm not that worried. And I know most of my friends won't come today, so I'm not that worried at all.
Well, the downpour has really impacted journey to work, because as you can see, most of the cars they are not even full, let's see, and then it makes it even difficult to find a car first of all. So the rain has made it very difficult to get to work. In this particular instance, I think most drainage systems here are not really efficient, because in as much as there are gutters around, you can still see that the road is still flooded, and it makes it difficult getting to work, honestly, because if there were efficient walkways where you could easily make it to work, that would have been much more convenient for us as workers. So yeah, that's how I can say the rain has impacted us, and we eventually ran late for work, and I think that would be understandable by everyone. From the 37 bus stop here in Accra, my name is Carlos Kaloni for Joy News.
The situation was not different in Dansoman and its environs through to Kaneshie. A greater part of the main Kaneshie towards Obeche-Bilamte stretch was covered in flood waters. Joy News' Jacqueline Yeboah, who used the stretch, results a number of the commuters were stranded on their way to work, with many private drivers parking their vehicles to stay safe until the rains had subsided. We've been speaking with the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Meteorological Agency, Papani Klej, who says there will be more rains this week, so the general public must ensure they adhere to all safety protocols while setting off to town.
We are going to experience this rain till 12 noon. the clouds will dissipate, and then we'll have some relief. We observed this storm emanating from Togo. That is around 4:30. That is 4:30 a.m. this morning, and we have to make sure that the storm will hit the country before we give out the weather warning.
So, are we going to see more of this in the coming days? Tell us about the weather pattern.
Yes, as you can remember, on the 10th of March, we came out with our seasonal forecast, and we indicated that the rain for this year will be a little lower than what we experienced last year. And we've given the timeline. What is going to happen now is that presently the rain is being experienced in Aflau, Kita, Pandohu, and its environment. And then it stretched to Adantema, Accra. And then presently we are having it in Solfong, Winnipeg, Aswa, Apam, Solfong, that is Sakra, the Azin, and its environment. The middle portion also is experiencing the rain, that is Kuforobia, Akiman, Modern, stretching down to the Bono region, the Chiman, Sunyani, and then the Volta region. Even portions of the northern portions of the country is also experiencing the rainfall. So this is how the pattern will be like. Getting to the evening, we'll have some relief, and then from tomorrow, but 3 days after tomorrow, we may have another storm. And
in terms of months, how long are we going to endure the rains?
Yes, we are still in the raining season. So the peak of the raining season is July. So we are going to have it till July. But let me say that there will be some dry spells. That is periods that wouldn't have any rain, and that will be about 7 days within the period that I have mentioned.
We're still live on Joy News today. We'll be back shortly with business.
Hello, good afternoon. Warm welcome to the business segment on Joy News today with me, Pius Kojo Baka. And Ghana is expected to get its first tranche of International Monetary Fund balance payment support this week. Well, that's if the chief executive or the executive board of the fund is able to consider and approve Ghana's request this Wednesday. The cash disbursement is expected to hit the Bank of Ghana's account. My colleague George Yafe has the rest of the story.
Ghana should also secure the approval of the first tranche of IMF cash this Wednesday, as soon as the executive board approves Ghana's program. However, due to international transfer procedures, the money should hit Bank of Ghana's account this Friday or next Monday. The first tranche of disbursement will be done in 2 installments. The about $750 million should come in this week or the next one. This is basically due to what some are describing as Ghana meeting all the preconditions under the program request, while the remaining $750 million should come in next month. That will be tied to meeting some fresh conditions under the program. You know, Ghana should get about $1.4 billion for this year as part of the first set of what some are calling cash transfers to the country under the IMF program. All the funds are going directly to the Bank of Ghana's account to support the country's balance of payment needs. The executive board of the IMF is looking at Ghana's program for approval after the country secured the required financial assurance last week from members that made up the G20 Common Framework, which includes China, and countries that made up the Paris Club.
Now, micro, small and medium enterprises will soon benefit from a 100 million cedi fund under the Ghana Economic Transformation Project. Speaking at the launch of the Women and Youth in MSME program by the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Minister for Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond, disclosed that 40 million cedis of the amount will be allocated for capacity building, while 60 million cedis will be used to support the youth.
The Ghana Economic Transformation Project, in partnership with the World Bank, is aimed at promoting private investments and firm growth in non-resource-based sectors. The Ghana Enterprises Agency has launched the Women and Youth in MSME program under this project to ensure an all-inclusive approach. Minister for Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond, gave a breakdown of how the fund allocated to the program will be utilized.
It is significant to note that over the 100 million cities of grant funding earmarked under the GET project for the two programs that we're launching today, 40 million is allocated as grant for training, capacity upgrading of a high growth, micro, small, and medium scale enterprises owned by women. You're not doing badly at all. While the balance of 60 million cities is earmarked to support enterprises owned by young persons between the ages of 15, 18, and 35.
Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Kosi Yankee Aye, explained why this tranche of funding comes with the condition that beneficiaries undergo training.
Our interventions have been to really build capacity and also provide access to funding. The access to funding component is important, but what is most important is the technical assistance capacity that these interventions provide. Over the years, a lot of MSMEs ask only for funding. But looking at the businesses of the youth and women, we think it's necessary and important that technical assistance and capacity development is at the forefront of the trainings and the tools that we provide to build and lift these interventions and businesses. So in this pool of training and support for the women and youth, for MSMEs, we will provide training in business and financial management, and this training will assist you to plan and grow your businesses better.
Deputy Finance Minister John Kuma indicated that the launch of the Women and Youth in MSME program is reiteration that government will continue to help small businesses even during challenging times like the country is currently facing.
We live in a world where inclusivity and equal opportunities are paramount. We recognize the immense potential and talent that women and young entrepreneurs possess, and it is our duty to create an environment where their aspirations can thrive. Today, we affirm our commitment to fostering economic growth, reducing unemployment, and driving sustainable development through these vital initiatives.
And that's your business for now. I am Pius Kojubaka. Darokwa will be here at 1 p.m. with the marketplace.
Let's do sports now. On Joy News today with me, Muftaw Nabila Abda, the Minister of Youth and Sports. Mustafa Yusuf has revealed that his outfit is committed to settling the debt of the Aliu Muhammad Sports Stadium. Power was disconnected to the facility by the Electricity Company of Ghana a couple of weeks ago, and during a tour of the facility, he said it is important that power is restored to the facility to enhance the development of football in the area. There's more in the following report.
The Electricity Company of Ghana disconnected power to the Aliu Muhammad Sports Stadium following a debt that was about 500,000 Ghana cedis. The Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Yusuf, revealed that his outfit is committed to settling the debt. However, he believes the current generator available should be able to provide power to the facility.
Yes, it has come to my attention, and that is why we are here to inspect the facility. But we also know that we have our own genset here, but our engaged the National Sports Authority to see what we can do to bring back the light to the facility.
Yusuf also reiterated the commitment of the Ministry of Youth and Sports to complete the Yende Youth Resource Center, a facility that has been left abandoned since 2020.
I visited there. I was with the president and we visited that facility. The first phase, I'm told, is completed, and the contractor, the second phase contractor is being prepared to come and go on. So work is going to be completed on the Yendi Youth Resource Center. And that Youth Resource Center is a part of the 10 Youth Resource Centers that we are doing. Currently, when you go to Kofodia, Adakulu, you go to Azim, you go to Dunkofen, all these facilities are being worked on. And why? So once these first phase, 5 of them, the second phases are done, the next 5 second phase will also be worked on, and they will be put into good use.
Mustafa Yusuf, Director General of the National Sports Authority, Professor Peter Chumesi, his deputy, Bao Majid, toured the Aliu Muhammad Sports Stadium to ascertain the level of deterioration of the facility and promised renovation work would start soon.
To club football now, and Kumasi Asante Kotoko, they will be without a management when the tenure of Naya Amponsa expires in August this year. Well, a former striker of the club, Eric Bequin, has called on the leadership of the Porcupine Warriors to extend the mandate of Naya Amponsa because he believes it is best for the club.
Being a straight ladder, or something that is going on, they keep going up, down, which doesn't speak well of the club. Because Kotoko, during our time, we even won the league around first round. Yeah, so that tells you the capacity that the team has, the expectations that they have. But this season, I would say we need to put things in order and then do the right thing as soon as possible if really we want to go higher and go to Africa and claim glories. Because the likes of Egypt,
Al-Ahly, Zamalek,
they are all pushing so
Wydad
well,
Casablanca,
putting money,
RS Berkane,
putting money and all that. And you and I know the monies that are going in here. And then we are not having the quality. And now we have the quantity, but the quality is few. Yeah, they are all good players, but they need certain 1 or 2 to be injected into them to become the top players and let them know the clubs that they are playing. Then we are good to go.
You're not a politician, but I'm going to ask you a political question. Yes, I'm going to ask a very, very, very political question. Okay. Nana Amponsa, his tenure is coming to an end. Would you suggest that they extend his mandate at Kotoko?
Yeah, in one point I would say yes, because of continuity, because of the vision that, and you see this thing, as it's good you started with political, because even in our entire nation that is what is happening, whereby somebody will put blog, the other one come and move the blog, re-put the same blog again, then we stay at the same level.
Yeah.
But instead of doing the continuity, we don't do it, and then we keep breaking, placing, and then we'll keep, because you see when you are building and the foundation is not right, you don't see the problem from the ground, you see the cracks.
Let's go, let's continue. Yeah. But has he done well? Do you think Nana Amponsa has done well?
Yes.
With the 3 years mandate that was given to him?
Yeah, per his vision that he came with, I would say he has done his part. And as for Kotoko and House of Folk, you can't do all. You can only come and do your quota and go. But within the quota, your exploit is what is more important. So I think Nana have done good so far. If we can maintain him for continuity, I think it will be best for the club.
That's your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. And also at 2 p.m. when my colleague Nathaniel Arthur comes your way with sports today. We appreciate your company.
That also settles it for the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's certainly more of the stories there and updates of all the developing stories. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.